Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the 2025 Nissan Z NISMO. As with all of my reviews, I'm going to cover all of the ins and outs and take this thing on a thorough drive. I'll also get a bunch of sound clips. Of course, there's a whole lot of stuff to cover, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. The new Nissan Z NISMO, first launched for the 2024 model year, represents the third generation of this unique track-focused Z model. It builds on the capabilities of the Z Performance and is geared for those who seek greater threshold of excitement and dynamic performance. Along with being the most powerful Z offered to date, the 2025 Z NISMO features a specially tuned suspension, larger brakes, revised aerodynamic bodywork, wider wheels with a more aggressive tire compound, and a less restrictive exhaust system. These targeted enhancements have taken an already impressive sports car platform to new heights. The Z NISMO features numerous exterior changes that were specially engineered to improve aerodynamic performance on the racetrack. As a result, the car produces a positive downforce to keep it planted where it matters the most. The front prominently features a styling element called the Grand Nose, which extends farther forward and recalls a similar design treatment seen on the original Nissan Fairlady 240 ZG. The new front fascia also includes a restyled grille opening with a super thin honeycomb mesh. The mesh balances the need to reduce drag with permitting more airflow for greater cooling. Canards at the car's front corners create vortices over the front wheels for better aerodynamic performance. Complementing the new nose is a new rear bumper with specially shaped corners that aid with air separation and help reduce drag. Their shape was inspired by the GTR NISMO. The Z NISMO's three-piece rear spoiler extends onto the rear fenders. It's taller and wider than the spoiler used on the Z Performance. Redesigned side sills and wheel arch extensions also help reduce drag and lift. Above the window line, the NISMO is further distinguished by a dark metallic gray version of the car's signature katana blade styling element. For 2025, the Z Sport and Performance are offered in 7 colors, including some new options such as iconic Bayside Blue, Pearl White Tri-Coat with a super black roof, and Solid Red with a super black roof. The NISMO, on the other hand, is offered in 5 colors, contrasted by a standard super black roof. This example is finished in Everest White Pearl Tri-Coat, which is a $1,295 option. Like the GTR NISMO, the Z NISMO has signature black and red accents around the bodywork and on the door mirrors, plus NISMO badging on the front and rear. Without a doubt, this is the best looking Z currently offered. I love the aggressive and purposeful stance. The Z is already a fantastic looking car that's sleek and modern with a silhouette that pays homage to the first generation Z. The 2025 Z NISMO starts at $66,890 including destination. In addition to extra cost paint, this example is also fitted with the optional floor mat package, illuminated kick plates, exterior welcome lighting, Z center caps, and NISMO dual racing stripes. The total MSRP for what you see here including destination is $70,210. For comparison, the 2025 Z lineup also includes the Sport and Performance, which start at $44,110 and $54,110 respectively. Unlike the Nismo, which is offered exclusively with a beefed-up 9-speed automatic transmission, the Sport and Performance have the option of a 6-speed manual transmission for no additional charge. Each model is more or less all-inclusive, with a great list of standard features and cool tech. The major differences with the Performance compared to the Sport include a mechanical limited slip differential, a larger staggered wheel and tire setup, bigger brakes, front and rear spoilers, a leather and suede trimmed interior, a unique seat design, a Bose premium audio system, and an upgraded 9-inch infotainment system. To deliver maximum road feel and traction, the Z NISMO wears Dunlop SP Sport Max GT 600 tires, a version of which are also used on the GTR. The rear tires measure 10 millimeters wider than those equipped on the Z Performance. The tires are fitted to lightweight Nismo-specific gloss black Rays 19-inch forged aluminum wheels. Although the wheels are half an inch wider than the wheels on the Z Performance, their advanced construction means the Nismo wheels are actually a bit lighter. The wheel and tire setup on the Nismo is also staggered. The wheels are 10 inches wide in the front and 10.5 inches wide in the rear. They're wrapped in 255/40 and 285/35 tires respectively. The Nismo's upgraded Akebono braking system includes larger 15 by 1.3 inch front rotors, 13.8 by 0.8 inch rear rotors, and a more performance-focused brake pad compound. The rotors are clamped down by gloss red 4-piston and 2-piston floating aluminum calipers respectively. The changes to the brakes are intended to improve the Z's already impressive brake feel and enhance braking performance and extended track use. The front and rear rotors are internally ventilated. Aerodynamic enhancements, including special air guides, help pour additional cool air over the brakes. 4-wheel, 4-channel, 4-sensor ABS is included, along with brake assist and electronic brake force distribution. With this setup, I feel the brakes offer more bite and even faster response than the setup on the Z Performance, which could stop from 60 miles an hour in about 111 feet. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nismo could stop from 60 in less than 110 feet, despite being over 100 pounds heavier. Curb weight for the Nismo is rated at 3,704 pounds. The parking brake is controlled by a traditional mechanical pull-type lever in the center console. Nismo engineers revised every aspect of the car's suspension to optimize precision, predictability, and cornering grip. There's unique stabilizer bars, a stiffer spring rate, and larger retuned monotube dampers. The general suspension design remains the same, just beefed up for track duty. The front is an aluminum double wishbone setup that also features a 2-point front strut tower brace and an aluminum subframe. The rear is an independent multi-link setup that also benefits from aluminum construction. Comprehensive chassis revisions to the Nismo begin with bracing and stiffening measures that help the car faithfully track and respond to the increased cornering forces enabled by the tires. Enhancements include additional front and rear underfloor bracing to increase the torsional rigidity over the other Z models. Stiffer front and rear suspension bushings work to increase lateral rigidity. The overarching tuning ethos was to deliver accurate one-shot steering that helps drivers to pick their line through a turn with a minimum of steering adjustment needed, contributing to a confident track-ready performer. All Zs feature electric power-assisted rack and pinion steering. The Nismo's setup has been further tuned to deliver more rapid response, while high-rigidity steering rack bushings provide enhanced feedback through the wheel and more lateral rigidity. When pushed hard, this Nismo delivers a rewarding experience that any enthusiast will appreciate. However, there is a drawback to being such a track-focused car. As a daily driver, the Nismo can be pretty harsh. The ride quality is very stiff, enough so that you will feel every road imperfection, and the sticky tires will cause you to wince any time there's debris on the road. These things just come with the territory and are not necessarily a knock against the Nismo, but if any of that is of a possible concern, you might want to look into a Z Performance, as it's significantly more friendly as a daily driver. The Z is powered by a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine that's fitted utilizing a front midship layout. The engine is built using aluminum for the block and heads and features double overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and continuous variable valve timing. Fuel is delivered via direct injection and the compression ratio is 10.3 to 1. Maximum engine speed is 6,800 RPM. In the Sport and Performance models, this engine produces 400 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 350 pound-feet of torque between 1,600 and 5,200 RPM. The Z NISMO increases the engine's output to 420 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 384 pound-feet of torque between 2,000 and 5,200 RPM. The additional power comes through a combination of improved cooling, revised electronic wastegate control, more boost, and an independent ignition spark timing strategy that was inspired by the GTR Nismo. An enhanced engine oil cooler offers improved cooling for extended track use. The added performance propels the Nismo to 60 miles an hour in just under 4 seconds. More power is always a plus, but the Nismo isn't necessarily about acceleration or top speed. It's definitely quicker than the Z Performance, but where the car really shines is handling, straight line stability, and grip. It's able to harness its power and deliver it to the road accurately with a high degree of poise and confidence. It also sounds awesome with its less restrictive muffler. One downside to the Nismo is that it's not offered with a manual transmission. It comes exclusively with a 9-speed automatic that's been enhanced for faster and more dynamic shifting response, with a particular focus on suitability for track use. Compared to the 9-speed offered in the Sport and Performance models, this one has new clutch packs that allow for faster shifting. Along with revised engine management software, the Nismo's transmission has reduced downshift time by almost half, which is impressive. The standard launch control system also delivers a more aggressive standing start acceleration. In addition to normal and sport drive modes, the Nismo adds a new Sport Plus drive mode. It delivers a more dynamic racetrack tuned shift program for circuit driving, taking advantage of the faster downshift capability. Nissan claims the shift programming is designed to be so responsive for performance driving that a driver does not need to use the shift paddles on the track. I can see what they mean, even though I wasn't able to push the car to its limits. It felt almost telepathic when pushed hard, especially through corners. Of course, you can always use the paddle shifters if you wanted to shift the transmission manually. The paddle shifters are aluminum and shared with the GTR. Downshifts are accompanied by automatic rev matching and subtle exhaust burbles for a more emotive soundtrack. All Zs are rear-wheel drive. The Nismo, like the Performance, comes standard with a 1.5-way mechanical clutch-type limited slip differential and a 3.1 to 1 final drive ratio. One of the defining traits of the Z has always been its bond between the car and the driver. Admittedly, I wasn't a huge fan of the automatic in the other Zs I've driven, as I felt it took away some of the car's inherent purity. However, this automatic is vastly improved and plays a big role in the car's overall performance. It's a night and day difference in my opinion. That being said, I feel like having the option of a manual transmission would further broaden the potential customer base for those who enjoy the engagement only a manual transmission can provide, because the manual transmission in the Z Performance especially is absolutely phenomenal. As far as fuel economy, the Z NISMO is rated between 17 miles per gallon in the city and 24 miles per gallon on the highway. During my week of driving, I averaged around 19 miles per gallon. Premium 93 octane fuel is required. The total tank capacity is 16.4 gallons. The Z NISMO's interior has the visual appeal of a proper sports car without being too over the top. As far as standard equipment, it builds on the Z Performance with several key differences. The engine start-stop and drive mode buttons are anodized red. The graphics of the digital TFT instrument cluster feature red accents, a NISMO logo, and a special red flash during the startup animation. Unique Recaro seats, finished in a combination of leather and Alcantara, offer a track-inspired feel and significantly more lateral grip. Unlike the Z Performance, these seats are not powered, nor are they heated. The manual adjustments include 4-way sliding and reclining. The driver's seat also gets front and rear height adjustment for the bottom cushion. The center section of the seats feature red accents, harness pass-throughs, and NISMO logos on the headrests. Leather accents can also be found on the dash and center console, while the door panel inserts have a combination of leather and Alcantara. A new steering wheel is included too, wrapped in leather and Alcantara with a sporty, race-inspired red accent mark at the 12 o'clock position. It's manually adjustable for tilt and reach. The seats are firm and supportive for track duty, but they're not as comfortable for daily use and lack any form of adjustable lumbar. As with the other Z models, vehicle information is arranged within a standard 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster that offers 3 display modes. Normal mode has a classic 2-dial layout with the center area for navigation, audio, and vehicle information. Enhanced mode pushes the tachometer and speedometer to the edges of the display, giving more space in the center for information to be displayed more prominently. Sport mode simplifies things to prioritize essential performance and powertrain information. It's characterized by a large central tachometer, a shift light at the 12 o'clock position, and auxiliary gauges. As in classic Z fashion, there's 3 analog gauges that are positioned in the middle of the dash, including boost, turbo speed, and volts. The Nismo comes standard with a full range of convenience features such as Nissan Intelligent Key with push-button start, intelligent cruise control, automatic temperature control, an auto-dimming rearview mirror, a rearview monitor, front and rear parking sensors, and more. Like the Z Performance, the Nismo has a 9-inch touchscreen with navigation, Nissan Connect services, and a Wi-Fi hotspot. Also included is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth hands-free phone and audio streaming, and Sirius XM satellite radio. For the 2025 model year, Nissan has upgraded this infotainment system with Amazon Alexa, which can play music, place calls, control compatible smart home devices, and more with voice commands. An 8-speaker Bose audio system with active noise cancellation and active sound enhancement is also standard. The infotainment system has clear graphics, a nice screen, and is pretty easy to use, but it does have a little lag when scrolling between the menus. However, I didn't find it to be much of a hindrance in just typical use. With standard Sirius XM data, you have access to real-time traffic, weather, and fuel price updates, as well as sports scores, stocks, and movie listings. All Z models include a range of standard driver assistance and safety technologies, including automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert, high beam assist, and intelligent forward collision warning. As I mentioned earlier, you also have intelligent cruise control, a standard backup camera with dynamic guidance lines, and parking sensors. In the overhead console via the SOS button, you can also call for roadside assistance. As far as airbags, there's dual front airbags, seat-mounted side impact airbags, and roof-mounted curtain side impact airbags. A top tethered child seat anchor can be found on the passenger seat. With regards to storage, there's door pockets with bottle holders, 2 cup holders in the center console with a movable armrest, and a small cubby underneath the armrest. In the cubby, there's a 12-volt power outlet. The glove box features a dampened lid that's lockable for added security. Beneath the glove box, there's an additional 12-volt power outlet. Beneath the climate controls, you have USB A and C outlets for connecting compatible devices to the infotainment system and charging. Out back, the Z continues with its traditional liftback layout as in years past. There's a release button within the Nissan emblem. Sports cars, of course, are inherently impractical, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. The Z has 6.9 cubic feet of trunk space, which is about 33% less than its closest competitor, now discontinued, the Toyota Supra. For what it's worth, the Z's trunk is wider, however, the liftover distance is a little excessive, even when compared to the previous 370Z. Trunk amenities include illumination and 4 cargo tie-down hooks. With the optional floor mat package, you also get a trunk mat, a first aid kit, a cargo net, and an owner's manual branded portfolio. If you want to access the cubbies behind the seats, the easiest way is going to be sliding the seats forward. There's no automatic slide function, so you're going to have to do it manually. This is a little more difficult with the Recaro seats. Instead of reclining the backrest with a lever like you typically see with manually adjusting seats, it's all done by rotating a knob. It's straightforward to use, it just takes longer versus a lever. For a purpose-built sports car, I think Nissan did well with what they had to work with and making it as practical as possible. The rear cubbies are big enough to set a bag or other small items. Behind the passenger seat, there's a pop-out pocket where you can keep the owner's manual. I also really like the open design of the rear compartment. Even though the quarter windows are pretty small, outward and rearward visibility is still pretty good. The Z's cross-car bar is a cool looking touch that helps keep cargo where it needs to be. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like down below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing that as well and make sure those notifications are on. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.